Mary Kay Letourneau could walk out of a Washington state prison any time now. She's the former school teacher who had an affair with a student, Vili Falau. The relationship that began when the boy was just 12 years old resulted in 2 pregnancies, and for Letourneau, a 7-year sentence for child rape. The big question now is, what's next for both of them? Greg Olson is the author of the book, If Loving You Is Wrong, and Anne Bremner is an attorney who met with Letourneau in prison just last week. And good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Ms. Bremner, let me start with you, since you've just seen Ms. Letourneau. What are her hopes for the future? Does she hope to get back with Vili?
She's always said this was a love story. I don't think that's ever changed. Ultimately, I would think that that would be what she wants to do, but she wants to be very careful because there's a no-contact order in place right now for life, and she's going to abide by what the judge has ordered, and it's up to Vili Falau to try and lift that order with the court. It's for life.
You have spent some time, Mr. Olson, with Vili Falau. What's your indication? Does he want to reestablish a relationship with her? Will he lift that no-contact order?
Although he hasn't done so yet, and he's had many years to do so, he could have gone to the judge at any time. He hasn't. But he does say he does want a future with her. He does at least want to talk to her and figure out what's next for them, because they have 2 kids to raise.
Even though there has been a no-contact order, she has violated that order on numerous occasions. She has sent several letters from prison and audio tapes. Is that correct?
That's right, and most of those were sent, though, in the early part of her incarceration. I don't know that she sent anything recently.
What were the nature of those letters?
They were really kind of disturbing, actually. They were, begging him to go to the judge to get this no-contact order lifted, telling him, that he would benefit from their relationship. She'd give him a car, she'd get a mansion for him. She would do anything she could to try to coax him into lifting that order, and he never did.
Let me check back in with you, Ms. Bremner, because he did not reply to any of her letters. He has not lifted that contact order. What's been her reaction to that lack of response from him?
Well, I tried a civil case where he and his mother sued the police department and school district for failing to protect him from Mary Kay Letourneau, and even in that case, we argued that nothing would keep the 2 of them apart. This was only 2 years ago. She was 5 years into her sentence. And during that, he said, he wasn't sure about love. He seemed to still love her, and even said there could be a pay-per-view wedding in the future. It was kind of a question I asked in jest, but he said there could be. So it's clear from what he's been saying for many, many years that there's some interest there. In fact, there's probably love, and this has always been a love story to both of them, including in my civil case.
Their 2 children have been raised by his mother. Will she seek custody of those children?
Mary has 6 children, as you know.
Yes, she has 4 children by her former husband.
She does,
right.
and she has 2 children with Vili Falau, who are being raised by his mom and his mom's sister. She sees him in prison. She wants to be involved with him in the future, and I think it would be great if they could all work something out without this going into the courts, as this case has been in the courts for many years.
You are shaking your head to this. Why?
I think there will be a battle over this. I think Mary will want those children. She will want to raise them to show the world that this was a love story and this was all good. Suna Falau and her family have done a great job raising these kids, and I don't think Suna will let them go, and she said so. She said in court 2 years ago, I'm not giving these children up.
What has his life been like over the last 7 years? Because we've heard reports of struggles with substance abuse. He entered into this adult relationship and fatherhood at a very young age.
Yeah, I think people kind of forget that. He was 12 years old when this thing started, 13 when the sex happened. He's been rootless. He didn't graduate from high school. He does not have a job. He's living with friends or is living with his mother. I mean, he's clearly been waiting for his life to start, and that will happen when Mary gets out of prison on Wednesday.
Ms. Bremner mentioned a pay-per-view wedding. Is this publicity something that Mary Kay Letourneau embraces? And what's your best guess as to what will happen here?
My thought is Mary is very shrewd about the media. She knows to get her message out there. She knows she can pick up the phone and call anybody at any time and get her story out there. I think she'll tell her story. I think we'll see a book. Maybe a movie even, or something like that. She wants the world to know she served those 7 years for love.
And what about you, Ms. Bremner? What do you think will happen down the road here?
Well, I saw Mary as recently as a week ago, and I think she's in a position now where she wants to do the right thing by her children. I think she's circumspect about everything that's happened. I would like to see her move forward in a good way for those kids. So that's my hope. There's so much media in this case. I mean, when I tried the civil case there was, in the criminal case there was, and there's even more now. The case is like, it gets curiouser and curiouser. There's always some new twist. And so I think that there's going to be media attention regardless of whether she seeks it out, like Grace says. you know.
Anne Bremner, Greg Olson, thank you so much for your insights today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, why bald can be beautiful, especially around dinner time. We'll explain when we come back.
Here comes a breakthrough in hair color. Gentle new natural instincts. The less risk, more reward hair color. A new fresh color formula helps kick out damage as it kicks up the shine. Forget ammonia. Forget roots. Think pure aloe, chamomile, and ginseng.